Good morning.
Grand Rising,
Good
Grand
morning,
Rising.
good morning, brother. Good morning,
Grand
everyone.
Rising, good morning, family.
Hey,
Good
Grand Rising.
morning, good morning.
Grand Rising.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Ready for Revolution. I'm your brother and friend, Brother Eric Teray Muhammad. Flat out excited over what we have here each and every day, known as the Believers Huddle. Soon we'll be joined by writer, director, Brother Devin T. Robinson X, also known as Brother Egypt. But first, I want to make those of you who are here for the first time, I want to welcome you to the Believers Huddle. The Believers Huddle comes each and every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern in the United States time zone. Take a screenshot of what you see here. It's the meeting ID and the password all lowercase, and that's how you can find us. And we encourage you to share it out. We encourage you to engage folks. We encourage you to enjoy the conversations that emerge from this great session, as well as the proverbial wisdoms. We provide personal development first and foremost. This is our 6th year doing what we do here on the Believers Huddle, and it's been impactful and socially effective because it's about the relationships we build, right? So right now, I'd like to move straight away as we wait the arrival of Brother Devin. We are going to move straight away for the proverbial wisdoms of our one and only esteemed leader, Pastor Pamela Dixon. Pastor Pam, are you available this morning?
Good morning, brother. Good morning, family. Yes, I am here, wide awake and available, and I am going with Proverbs 4, verse 23, one scripture, 23, and I guess I'll read it out of both since it's one. And it reads, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." That's King James. Amplified Classic reads, let me find it. "Keep and guard your heart with all vigilance, and above all that you guard, for out of it flows the springs of life." See, when we think of that in terms of our arteries and the blood flowing, but what it's saying, no, you need to guard your heart from going astray. We need to examine our attitudes, our thoughts on a regular basis. We need to make the proper adjustments, make sure that anything that's negative, that's trying to get in, think about where they came from, go back to the root and uproot that thing in terms of the good and the bad, the good and the people telling you what you cannot do and where you're not going to succeed. You need to pull that root up because the Bible tells we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. So by we taking and having the right thinking and the right attitude will help us in terms of our habits and going that extra mile. When we take and know that we're doing the right thing with the right reason, the right purpose behind the thing that we're doing there, it helps us. It advances us. It keeps us with our going on that straight and focus and narrow way. So in other words, we need to keep our heart with all diligence, vigilance, in terms of keeping the bad out and keeping the good in, because it does. If you take and think on the wrong thing, you're gonna have stress. You're gonna have all these issues that's coming against you. But when you know you're doing it the right way with the right reason and the right purpose and got a good attitude and positive thinking and positive thoughts, and you're getting in your word and you're getting the higher thoughts, you'll go far in life. That's basically what this is saying. We need to think about what we think about. Any issue that relates to any and all things, marriages, relationships, finances, all of it. Make sure that we're examining ourselves, making the proper adjustment. Think about what it is we're thinking about. And if it's bad, take it out and put the right thoughts in. So that's what I've had today. And he's talking about the habits of going that extra mile. If you do that, you will have favor with God and man. You will reap the promotion because you're doing it for the right reason. Turn back over to you, brother. Thanks for allowing me this morning.
Teach. Thank you for sharing. Y'all give it up for Pastor Pamela Dixon, please.
Yes,
Thank you, Pastor
ma'am.
Pam.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Pamela.
Thank you,
Great.
Pastor Pam.
Thank you,
Pastor.
ma'am.
Now, folks, as we still await the arrival of Brother Devin, let me share a couple of things with you um, that we launched a campaign around. Some of you were here before we actually began the 9 a.m. Eastern presentation, and you'll find that we've been playing the tenets of Mr. Earl Nightingale. Mr. Earl Nightingale was a great friend and fan of Napoleon Hill, and Mr. Nightingale has a message called Pay the Price. And we share this message because, you know, success is a simple formula, folks. It really truly is. Everything is universally connected. And if we just follow the principles are those things that transcend time, right? So It applies today just as it did yesterday, just as it will tomorrow, because that's the power of principles. When we follow principles, it leverages us towards our visions, our goals, and our dreams. And this is what we seek to do. And I'm very excited over the campaign we're on right now, because over the next 30 days, we're playing this repetitively, what you hear from Mr. Uh, uh, Earl Nightingale, along with the message that you're hearing in these next few days of Mr. Napoleon Hill. It's the master keys to success, Mr. Napoleon Hill's articulating. You heard the third installment of 17, and they're very brief, and they're very direct and concise. And we encourage you to not only write it down, but also visit the Wealth Minister YouTube channel, because that channel, which is in the chat, by the way, that channel allows you to go to those jewels or gems that you might have heard over the last few days, along with opportunities and anecdotes from different influences. And so it's a very, very, very thought-provoking and special piece, because our YouTube channel, as well as our Telegram groups, they are designed to systematize our growth, systematize our development. And that's what it's all about. Y'all unmute your mics and say system.
System.
Okay.
System.
Yes, systems are what grows individuals on a consistent basis. What happens when you systematize personal development? What happens when you systematize personal growth? Well, the same thing happens when you get up in your morning. If you are a prayerful person or you're a meditating person, you set yourselves up a certain way. They start your day. It might be the brushing of your teeth, showering, washing your face, getting a cup of coffee, whatever it is. That's a routine, but the routine stems from a system that was introduced to you, right? System, according to my brother and friend, brother Vincent Muhammad, who's on the platform, system means save yourself stress, time, energy, and money, right? A systematic approach to things allows you to plan, plot, strategize in constructive ways that allows you then to act with efficiency, proficiency, and consistently. Do you know that when you have a planned uh, uh, attack of your day, you have a planned approach to your activities, it collapses time. So you don't waste as much time. 86,400 seconds are in a day. How much of that time is productive? How much of that time is just busy? We all have 24 hours, God willing, right? And in those 24 hours, how much of it is productive? How much is it just busy? There's so many of us that will claim we're just busy, right? But being busy is not the same as being productive. Okay. So we're joined by our guest this morning. Very happy to see him, Brother Devin. I made you co-host in the event that you have any items you want to share during this discussion, this discourse. But folks, we're joined by our brother and friend, Brother Devin T. Robinson, also known as Egypt. And he's not just a writer and filmmaker, he's entrepreneur extraordinaire. He travels back and forth to the continent. He and I have been in each other's company. Actually, I had to look back into different emails and things that I was exposed to with you, Brother Devin, and it goes back as far as 2017. But the fact that we recently got together at a conference of the National Business Council, the organization found by Booker T. Washington. We were together there. I was there covering for the Final Call newspaper. He was there as well, uh, uh, showing off his chickens and all the things that he does in terms of sustainability and what we can do for our own personal growth. And I was very excited to reconnect there with him, and very excited over what he has done thus far. How many of you were here last Friday when we showcased the film Tranquil Inferno? Just unmute yourselves and just say, I was.
I was.
I was.
I was. I was.
I was there. I was.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I was.
So we had a little more than 30 folks who were
I
engaged
was.
in that. Yes, ma'am. We had a little more than 30 people that were engaged in the in the presentation, Brother Devin, and they were wide, wide open, and very excited that you are here with us. And I don't know if you have the ability, let me just check. I don't know if you have the ability to open your video, but if you want to, you can. And folks, I would like to take time to um, um, introduce to some and present to others. There he is, my brother and friend, Brother Egypt, Brother Devin T. Robinson. Y'all give it up for him, please.
All right, all right. I appreciate this. You know, it's
Hello.
Welcome.
how y'all doing?
Hey,
Thank you,
greetings,
thank you.
brother. Peace and blessings.
Appreciate it, appreciate it. This is awesome. Wow, this is awesome. Wow, this is awesome. The 2017, what that reflects to me and what that represents to me is the consistency. Because if I was talking to you in 2017, that means I had to been doing the same stuff for our people since then. Because I was doing this since I was in college, starting in 2003. So
Wow.
this is I like moments like that because it just reminds me that I'm consistent, and I always tell Black people that we have to be just as consistent as the evil people are to us.
Mm.
And we have to be consistent with the good we do to each other. So I really appreciate that. And I thank you guys for watching the film. I sent it in the chat so for those who didn't watch it and want to buy a copy. It took 7 years for me to get this film done, this film about Black Wall Street. And it encompasses so much because when we talk about sustainability, one of the things is no matter how much money you make, you could be a millionaire, billionaire. If you can't feed yourself, that means now you put yourself right in the same boat with somebody who's has lesser money than you. So if something goes crazy in the
Mm.
world and you have all the money in the world, but you still got to take yourself to the grocery store, and that person that has no money has to go to that same grocery store. When you come out with all those groceries, if you think they're going to starve watching you put all that stuff in your cart, you're crazy. So I realize one of the biggest things for our people is that we have to reshape how we think about the world. We got in some cases we have all these conveniences. A friend of mine told me you can press a button. I mean, there's an app and you can press a couple buttons and people will deliver food to you. That's insane to me. Another friend of mine told me they can talk to their Alexa. I don't have any of this stuff, by the way. And you could talk to it, tell it what you want to order food wise, and it'll have somebody go shop for you and bring it to you. And I said those conveniences are making you think that the people who created them love you because you're like, they look at what they created. Because if you go to some countries outside of America and they don't have these luxuries, you think, see, if you just had people who loved you like we do, then you would have these luxuries, not realizing these conveniences are killing us. So
Mm.
what I did is when I did this research about Black Wall Street, when I tell you it messed me up, here's a fun fact. We have all the elements that they had right now with more money. Let me bring it back. The vast majority of people on here, all 38 people, they probably live in a Black neighborhood or grew up in a Black neighborhood. They went to a Black elementary, middle, and high school, and potentially went to a Black college. If they didn't, that'd be the only thing different. Because some of us go to PWIs or HBCUs. But for the vast majority of our lives, we're around Black people. We live in Black neighborhoods. The only difference between then and now is that now we give our money to people who don't look like us.
Mhm.
And we have way more money to give, by the way. It's the only difference. And when I saw that, I said, oh, shoot. Like we have the perfect situation to do exactly what they did and even better. Well, why? Because on this phone call, say we're going to build a hospital, right? 36, 38 people. Well, all right, cool. We're going to put, $100 in a month until, the end of the year. And then we're going to use that to get a loan for something. And then we're going to flip that and yada, yada. We can make a 10-year plan to be able to buy a hospital with 38 people because of the amount of money we have now. And the fact that we are segregated. We could work with one another. We could all make a decision. We're going to do $100 a month, and we're going to pick a Black business that we're going to support. We're going to help build that Black business. So as that Black business, maybe it's a small clinic, or maybe it's something in the medical field, we start supporting that Black business as it builds up, then we can say we could help to convert that to the hospital. But we can make these plans now because we're segregated. But again, we just choose to put our money to people who are not like us. And we don't have the excuse of, oh, these things don't exist. There's no Black version. They're Black hotels still. They're Black restaurants. They're Black grocery stores. We have those things. Again, we just choose to go to the white version. And when I made that film, and then I invented the My Organic Pod, which is what brother talked about earlier when we met at the conference, it was to give our people an option. Like, hey, look, I'm telling you right now, I'm doing my part to make sure that we have no excuses. When I die, there will be no excuse as it pertains to the food that we eat. You know, you can choose to eat the poison, but I'm going to do my part so my people can say, you know what, this brother created a way for me to eat organic food in my backyard in abundance, not this little goofy stuff, you know, the little towers that they have that doesn't really feed families. But I have a way that you can have abundance of food, fruits, vegetables, fish, chicken, and eggs, solar powered, all in your backyard. So he did it. And I have a one for apartments, townhouses, condos. He did it. Now I did my part because that's what they were doing in Black Wall Street. They created a transit system. Why? Because whoever created that, they did their part. And that's what we're called to do. Do your part so our people have no excuses, because what these people have done so well, and I'll end on this and open it to questions. They've made it that they programmed us to have excuses as to why we don't do what we're supposed to do. I don't support Black because of blank. I don't support Black because of blank. Well, I wish Black people had blank. Well, for food, I eliminated that. That's not excuse anymore. I have a version. If you go to my website, I have a version that you can put behind if you have an acre of land, we can put this on an acre of land and feed 6,000 people.
That's right.
And now what happens after that? What happens? We could replicate that. We have enough Black millionaires and billionaires that we could end food deserts today. But if we don't, we could never blame these people, because these people were never designed, however they were designed, to end our problems for us. So again, I thank you guys for watching the film. I'm gonna put in the chat too if you guys wanted to learn more about the My Organic Pod. And now we also have we have a NASA rocket scientist who created a technology called Kiko technology, and it basically energizes the water. So now the fruits, the fish, everything grows even faster and has more nutrients just because of this new technology that we're also putting in the water. And it's all organic. And I've been talking to this guy, and he's a genius. But now we have that a part of it. So now this is, by the time anybody catches up to what I'm doing, it won't even matter by then. So I'm putting that in the chat too. So any questions you guys have, I would love to.
Please do.
You.
And folks, you can see it, myorganicpod.com, myorganicpod.com. Now, the one thing that excited me about reuniting with Brother Egypt was when I was at the conference and I got a chance to see some of that, you know, hung out, talked with his chickens, you know, stuff like that. But the power is that how many of you all, and you can unmute your mics, and how many of you all ever heard of food deserts? Food deserts. Have any of you ever heard of food deserts?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
A food desert was originally classified as a neighborhood where you had to travel more than 1.6 miles outside a neighborhood to get to a local grocery store.
Yeah.
That's considered a food desert because you had to go too far to get it, right? So in my journeys and investigations into Black land loss, we also looked at what it is that suffers in that kind of loss. I was with the Black farmers a couple of years ago at a conference in Mississippi, and that's when I came across me. I understood that a windowsill qualifies for grants, right? But for organic herbal gardens, I mean, it qualifies. But that wasn't so much the point for me. The point for me was that you can feed, as brother said, 6,000 plus people with an acre. With an acre. And so we can eliminate food desert, but do we want to do it the way we've been programmed, trained, or conditioned in? Because all we're doing then is fostering possibly death. My brother lives, Brother Patrick Muhammad, y'all know him from Faith Farms, right? So he's about a mile and a half away from me with his 31-acre farm. Okay. And we speak with other farmers and we collaborate a great deal over the things that they're doing and the challenges they face, right? But just imagine having the control of what we put in our systems, our bodies. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us that food keeps us here and the same takes us away. Muhammad said, we dig our graves with our teeth. Just think about that, and look at all the untimely transitions, that evil accident of time. Is it really an accident when we know how to eat? Is it really an accident of how to secure and protect our waters and what we put into ourselves? Is it really an evil accident of time, or is it our negligence? Or is it what we bring to it? So this is the power of what I see combined with the vision that not only produced the film, but the life's journey that's developed Brother Devin to this point. What he's saying basically is he's leaving it all on the floor. If he has to go, what's on his terms is he's not taking any of that back with him to the most prime real estate on the planet, which is a cemetery or graveyard. He's going to leave it right here amongst the living, amongst the people. That's what had me so wide open over him. So, brother, if you would just share with us, then we'll open the floor, the genesis of the creation of Tranquil Inferno, and how different is it from the traditional Black Wall Street stories that we hear?
Oh gosh. So I'll say this, and I'll remove the emotion because it is a really emotional moment, because the person who funded this was my father, and he died in 2020, and he gave me the motivation to tell this story. And in the process of me writing this story, I'm at his house, and I'm talking about the massacre, because whenever we talk about Black Wall Street, the massacre, and one of his friends, she says, what people fail to realize is that many of us who are in our 60s and 70s were alive to see somebody hanged, and we're tired of seeing it. And that never really permeated my mind, that in 1954 was when the first Black people were integrated. I think that was in Little Rock, Little Rock 9, what have you.
Right.
And the idea that we were just whimsically putting all these movies out. Emmett Till was murdered in 1955, right? Martin Luther King in 1968, Malcolm X in 1965. Like, these are things that are not that long ago, and there are people who are alive who were there who saw it. So I said I got to tell it differently, but I also had to remove the whiteness from my brain, which means many times when we tell Black stories, we tell it from the white perspective, and we don't know we're doing it. If we told a story of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, where will we tell that story from? Will we just talk about the positive and what he inserted into the world, or will we try to show the other side of him, right? Will we try to find something negative to balance it out, because that's the white way of doing it? Because the white way is always like, oh no, we got to show this, because it's always to tear down. Only they are allowed to be built up solely. When we think about Christopher Columbus, we don't think about, when they tell the story of him, it's like, this brilliant man traveled all around the world. We don't say that he was a rapist and a murderer. He did more raping and murdering than discovering, because he didn't discover anything. But I digress. So the story, I had to remove my white mind, the white out of my mind. Then I also had to remove the idea of what I call Black torture porn, which means just
Wow.
visuals of Black people being tortured and beaten and killed. I had to remove that, and then I had to insert victory, because the true story of Black Wall Street is a story of victory. At the time in which they did what they did, If we did what they did now, people would be like, it's a black community doing what? If we did that in 2025, if they were able to do that in 1921, where the Ku Klux Klan was, hey, what's up? What are you doing? And could take your son or daughter, burn them to the stake in front of your house, and there'll be no repercussions because the police are the Ku Klux Klan. So they were doing it back then. That's a victory. If they even did it for a day, they did it for years, but if they did it for a day, that's a victory. So I had to say, how do I show that we were victorious, but also how do I show that we fought back? Because that's the thing that we keep missing. Because when you think with your white mind, we're always victims. But in reality, we've been kicking their butts since we got here. But we're not the ones telling the stories. And then if we are telling the stories, I want everyone to do this. Whenever you read a movie about watch a movie about black people, right? Whatever the story, do this. Go to IMDb. I'll put it in the chat. IMDb.com. Look at who's the writer, director, and who funded it, which will be the executive producer, and look at the producers, right? Look at their ethnicities. Look at their last names. And you're going to start understanding why every time you see us on screen, we're always the victim because we're not even writing these stories. We're not even funding these stories. If somebody hated you, why would they allow you to put a story of your victory on TV or in a movie theater? It doesn't make sense. So I'll end with this. I said I had to again remove my white mind, get rid of black torture porn, and then I had to instill the understanding of victory, because a lot of those brothers who were fighting, these brothers knew how to fight. So they fought back. There were a lot of white people who died that day too, and during the massacre. But the story of Black Wall Street, we actually start that story off in whenever people think about Black Wall Street, they're actually talking about the 1930 version, not the 1920 version. Meaning, we always started off like, oh, they had a lot, and then white people took it away. We don't realize that there were two versions. They did one in the 1912, 1918s to the 1921, but white people burnt that one. Those black, amazing, magical, magnificent people rebuilt it even better. And then that one stayed until the building of Highway 244 and integration, because integration in the building of highways is actually how they destroy black neighborhoods. That's why if you typically always notice, there's always like hoods right off the highway, because that's what white people do. They learned that if you build a highway through a black neighborhood through something called eminent domain, that's how you destroy black neighborhoods. And then integration, because black people, vast majority of them believe that their gods are white. They love the idea of believing that white water is wetter. So they will typically go to white businesses, even if there's a black business of the same. And that's what actually destroyed Black Wall Street. But when we talk about Black Wall Street, we're actually talking about the one post the massacre, because that's how awesome we were. That's a victory. That means they burnt something down that you built. And instead of you going, well, we're going to move, these black people pitched tents and built their community by themselves up even better, so much so that we brag about the one after the massacre. We don't even talk about the one before the massacre. That should let you know that is something special about us, and that's what I wanted to tell. I said I want to tell the story of how special you are, so when you tell your children about Black Wall Street, you're not going to be like, oh, black people had something and white people. No, you're going to say, black people are so amazing that no matter what they did, we overcame it. And now we had many Black Wall Streets since then, and we have Black Wall Streets now because you individual business owners right now are representations of it. Because these people, they are consistent, but so are we. So we always win. But one thing that they're good at is making us forget who we are and what happened. Who you are, your history says that you are the winners because you've been winning. their history says that they have to lie about winning. They have to tell you that the pharaohs were white. They have to tell you that God is white, that everything good is white, because that's their consistency, that they can lie and make you believe the lie. But our consistency is that we win. And once you remember that we win and we're winners, then that's what you become. And that's what my film does. So sorry I gave you a whole monologue about it, but
Beautiful,
that's it.
beautiful, beautiful. You know, I lean heavily on our teachers and my father. You know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, any man that will not teach you right, can you expect that, treat you right, rather, can you expect that same man to teach you right? So there are things that we're reminded of that we're in great reflection of as a result of the contributions that Brother Devin and others make in removing the mind of the oppressor and celebrating the victory of our people. With that being said, the floor is open. Folks, for any conversation, I see Brother Raymond in the chat. Go ahead, Brother Egypt. He said, this is awesome and invaluable information, family. So y'all can unmute. You can raise your hands, ask your question. We have none other from the D. He's known as the champ, Brother Abdul Rahman. You can also turn your cameras on, folks, if you like. That's available to you now. Go ahead, Brother Rock. You can unmute.
Hey, assalamu alaikum, brother, and peace to dear brother, Brother Devin. Mr. Devin, thank you for taking out the time to be with us on the Believers Huddle, man, because we know a man of your expertise got a very busy, active lifestyle because you're on a mission. And thank you for giving us the narrative of the way to properly look at Black Wall Street. And I never looked at it or even thought of to look at it from that perspective. So thank you for sharing that. It's very important. Two questions. When are you gonna be in Detroit?
What's the second question so I can add that
together? The second question is, well, I'm gonna have three, but the second question is, what is I guess we can go to your website and look at how to get started. From the home perspective of growing, starting off at our home. I checked the information out on your website, but anything insight you can guide to that, finding that, how to get started, with growing food, some basics. And then the next one is, what is your perspective on Juneteenth? And what's your perspective on that? Those are my three questions. Thank you, brother.
I'm just writing down your questions so that way I'll answer them accordingly. So I do a workshop called Recreating Black Wall Street. So I start off with the short film version of my film, and then I've been told it's a very spirited talk about how do we recreate Black Wall Streets in every town. So I would love to discuss with you to come to your church or mosque or community and present that. And it's just a great, number one, people use it as a fundraiser. They'll tell people that there's a screening of a movie so they can collect ticket sales. And then I come and we do the movie, and then we do the talk, or I'll do the short film version and then do the talk. And so that's another way of getting me into Detroit, because I don't have any Detroit. Well, we haven't started promoting the tour yet. We're actually going to start in September, but we can do it earlier than that. So I'll give you my information is actually on the website as well. So you can contact me and we can go from there. So that's one. The My Organic Pod, you can actually purchase it on the website, myorganicpod.com. And what I always tell people first, how we start is first how to say it, the best way to say this is you have to remove all the can't out of your mind when you're doing this. I created this as a person who had no prior experience building or farming. I built this and I'm farming. I grew up in the city. I didn't grow up in some rural area with chicken. I grew up in the city. So you have to get rid of all can't. And that's the hardest thing for some people, because you're going to come, not you, but many people come with these predetermined ideas and these misconceptions about how it works. And I'm like, listen, get rid of your can't, and you'll see. Like right now, I'm selling eggs. I got so many eggs. Now I have an egg business. And right now, well, by the end of this year, I'll be able to make thousands of dollars selling eggs. Eggs. So my lights and water and utilities, and I wouldn't have to work, it didn't pay for itself. That's just extra. I didn't even try to do it on purpose. People just keep asking me questions about it. You can sell organic eggs for like $10, $20 because people, it's a real thing. And now, and this white guy hit me to this. If you feed your chicken hemp, you can sell them for $20. You can sell the eggs for $20 a dozen. They're going to start doing that at Whole Foods. So that's another thing, but I'll talk to you about that later. So that's that. And Juneteenth, I think Juneteenth, I laugh when you said it, because Juneteenth was like your personal birthday, and then white people made everybody's birthday on the same day. And I think Juneteenth was good when it was a private thing that we enjoyed ourselves, because it's just a reminder of what we were able to, what we endured, so we can have something to remind for the children. But then once they made it a national holiday, I think it became kind of like a joke, because now white people are celebrating it and they have no need to tell their children about what we went through, because now they can feel guilty, and white guilt doesn't build anything. White guilt just makes them feel bad. So I think when it was private, it was good, but now that it's a national holiday, I think it's losing the luster, because we used to have it together and be able to tell each other why. But now you got your white coworker talking about Happy Juneteenth, Sam. It's not hitting right when it was just you and me. So that's how I feel about it.
Again, thank
for
you
the
very
question,
much. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
So
Sis
make sure you go
Nicole
to the
Tony.
website for both of the things, by the way, so we can love to come to Detroit.
Oh,
Detroit
yeah.
is amazing. I
Yes,
was
sir.
there to see. I got Barry Gordy's book. Went to the Motown. Saw the Joe Louis. I mean, Detroit. Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. We're
Like
gonna
Wall Street.
work on getting you here ASAP. So I'm gonna check out the information on how to contact you on the website.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Rock. Miss Nicole Tony out of Louisiana says, we have to outthink the propaganda machine and write our own story. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent was the exclamation from Brother Cliff there in Texas. Anyone else? Any other questions? Any comments? Floor is open. Floor is open. As Brother Dante says, going once, going twizzy.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Pablo Clark out of Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, I'm listening. While a little bit before that came on, I received a text from something that I sent out. You remember you sent something to me? Chime. You say if I join it, they will give me some money.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you will get some money. I sent it out to a friend. I sent to many people, but they don't respond. So one respond this morning. First of all, he said, "What? How is that? How is that? I don't understand it." I sent other stuff to him. He don't understand it. So now the reply I get this morning he said, I look at the thing you sent me for Chime. He said, and he said, what I'm going to do with that $100? He said, what I'm going to do with that $100? I said, listen, man. I said, you have to think differently. When money come to you and somebody giving you money, somebody give you food, what you going to ask me what I'm going to do with this food? You're going to eat it. Yes. So he wants to know what he have to do with the $100. I said you could send it back to me, give it away, or do whatever you want to do with it. I said it's yours. So people do not understand a whole lot of stuff. This is how far back we are.
Yep, yep. You know, Brother Pablo, what you shared, and by the way, folks, in case you don't know, Brother Pablo will be 90 years old January.
Right.
Wow, bravo.
Yep,
Wow,
90
Yes,
years old
sir.
January. Okay. And I showed off, was that yesterday? Was it yesterday when I showed off your bodybuilding photos, Brother Pablo? Was that I can't remember what
Yes,
day it
sir.
I,
Yes,
was.
sir. It was yesterday.
yeah,
I
yesterday.
think it was,
Yes.
yeah, with the bodybuilder, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's a tremendous musician, accomplished artist, uh, originally out of Belize, and he's done a whole lot. Uh, it,
I'm a welterweight wrestler.
Welterweight wrestler, yep. You know, and we look at his recordings, we look at his saxophone playing, his photography. I mean, this brother is huge, you know, and this is the kind of power and gifts that we have within our communities, but it's hidden in plain sight because we allow distractions, you know, that doesn't allow us to see the full value of us and the uniqueness of us. And that's what keeps us disjointed. So we find ourselves now trying to find a dollar when you, now and a dollar when you catch me. You know, we find economically speaking, we find so many of us robbing Peter to pay Paul. Then one day there's a knock at the door, and that's Peter and Paul standing there looking for their money, right? So there are a lot of distractions in the world, but when we focus, and keep a main thing, the main thing, it allows us to accomplish different victories. I see Sister Sharon Starr was saying, can Brother Egypt give us an example of how to start with the garden? And I'm sure that's in the in on his site as well. But let me see if I can see the full chat so I can see her full question. Okay. Let's see here. Can Brother Egypt give us an example of how to start with the garden and give us info on his set tour? Okay.
So yes, so the with the My Organic Pod, you go into the website and you could actually purchase it on the website, and it's more than a garden. This is a backyard grocery store. So it has a pond, it has a big chicken coop, and it has two areas where you grow fruits and vegetables. So it's not just a garden. It's designed to be a one-stop shop to feed your family. Like
Mm-hmm.
right now, excuse me, right? So every July, I get 60 chickens and I'll grow and process them myself, right? And then I have about 20 chickens that lay eggs and I have about 500 fish. And then fruits and vegetables growing year round. So should something happen in the world, right? Say all of a sudden they say you can't go to the grocery store unless you're vaccinated or something. It wouldn't matter to my family. It wouldn't matter. The chickens I processed last year are still in my deep freezer because it's so much meat. The fish are still growing.
Mm-hmm.
The chickens are still laying eggs. The fruits and vegetables are still growing, right? I have sustainable food. I'm not a multimillionaire and I'm able to do this, but millionaires do this. I'm making
Right.
this something that people who are not millionaires can do. So you go to the website, I'll put it in the chat. You go to the website and we haven't posted the new version for the apartments and townhomes as of yet, but if you write me, I'll send you that information when we're going because we're setting up everything for September, but we can take orders now and you can get it of course well before September. But September is more like we're promoting it just in this local market, but we're doing it
Mm-hmm.
time because we want people like conversations like this. We want pre-order so we can start to get things ready for individuals. But the in regards to the set tour for the recreating Black Wall Street workshop, that is something we can do now. All it requires is just you go to the website or you can just I'll send my email in here now or in my number. You guys can just call me and say, hey, look, we want to do this for our ministry or this organization, or you want to do it for family reunions. I once did it for a 60th birthday. which was funny, but it showed me the character of those people that they wanted this for a 60th birthday, which it was fun too, because the workshop is funny. It's really high spirited. So those are things. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can contact me and then we can go from there. But the first step, you have to make sure you remove all can'ts in your mind because that is when I talk to people, the first thing they go is, what about my HOA and what about this and what about that? And I tell you, I have an answer for all those things because I had to remove that from my mind in order to do it because there's always a reason why many of us don't have massive gardens in our backyard. I come from Florida. Everybody had mango trees and orange trees in their
Right.
backyard. Then these people literally started uprooting the trees out of our backyards because everything that's happening is on purpose. The people that kill the most people on earth are experts at death. We are experts at life. So it was natural for somebody like me to create life. So my consistency is your consistency. And the way to tap that, tap into it is remove the can't. And from there, even if you have an issue with affording it, talk to me. Because we have payment plans. We work through I think sorry, it's called Kernia, and there's a PayPal payment plan, so you can even afford it. We even have discounts for people who allow us to film the entire process so we can use it for content. I'm doing my part to make sure that I leave no excuses for my people to be able to feed themselves. I'm not gonna say, oh, I got to do this for money. No, 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 no. This is legacy because those people in Black Wall Street made a decision, and that decision created a legacy. Just like the Black Wall Streets in Florida, North Carolina, Atlanta, it was a legacy. This is a legacy. My children's children remember what dad and great great granddad did in his life on this earth. So if you want to be part of it, again, I'll do my best to make sure that I can help you at any stage. If you don't have a lot of money, then let's look at a smaller version of it because the faster we get off the track of always being in this dependency stage with these people,
Right.
it doesn't matter how much money you have. Look at what they did to Bill Cosby. Look at what they did to all our black millionaires. These people have more money. If R. Kelly went to any part of Africa, he would be unimaginably rich. But in America, he wasn't rich enough. So yeah,
Great share.
put it
Great
in
share.
chat now.
Folks, we got a few minutes more. Any questions, any
Thank
comments?
you.
Now's the time to provide them. Go ahead, Sister Sharon.
I just said thank you. Thank you,
That was a great.
Brother Eric, for bringing this to us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
Absolutely.
Great
Got me
question.
fired up over here, boy.
Absolutely.
Because you know how we get down. You know, Rock. This had me think of jihad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Legacy, man. And so we on and popping, brother. I will be reaching out to you. And we're gonna do something here in Detroit soon. Very soon.
We'll make it do what it do, though.
We'll make it do what it do, brother. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. Brother Melvin Arnhem, what's up, soldier?
Hey, Brother Eric. Thank you so
Melvin,
much.
Melvin, you're in Massachusetts?
Yes, I am.
Okay, got you. All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brother Devin, for being on. I enjoyed the movie. You mentioned something about medical. Could you go into a little bit about helping the ones that are strung out on alcohol and drugs?
Oh, in regards to what? My organic pod or Black Wall Street? Explain that again.
Any part that you're working on or with or suggestions on helping them?
Oh, people who are strung out on drugs and things of that magnitude. Yeah.
Right, and alcohol, yes.
Well, I'll tell you, I didn't talk about that, but one of the man, it's funny how many things change but are still the same. You know, people who farm live 8 years longer than the average person. Like, why is that?
Wow. Wait. You got pause. Pause for effect, folks. You got to say that again, brother. You have to say that again.
People who farm live 8 years longer than the average person. Well, why is that? Because you have something to look forward to and you have something that relies on you. So when your children get older, they leave the house, you're not caring for them anymore. Your spouse could pass away, family members could pass away that you took care of, so you don't have a valid reason or a strong enough reason to be here. But those animals need you every day. So you have something that needs you and not just wants you, needs you. If you don't feed them, they die, right? So one of the things I was looking at in terms of mental health is the therapy that having your own farm provides. Because many of us just don't have it. We look at great like our grandparents or what have you who had farms and think about their mental capacity until the day they died because they had to constantly be sharp here because everything is a number. I had to think about how many chickens do I have and how much feed do I provide every day. How many eggs did I get yesterday, and then how many eggs do I need to have in order to make sure that my chickens are healthy? Why are my chickens doing this? Why do my fish die? Like you have all these things going on constantly, so your brain is working, is sharp. That's why they say a way to defeat Alzheimer's is to keep reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with addictions. When you have something to live for, if you know I got drunk yesterday and I forgot to feed my fish and I had a massive die off, or I did this and my chickens X, Y, and Z were left out and they got eaten up by coyotes and hawks, that sticks in your mind, and that makes you question the decisions that you're making, and it's therapy. Because many times we drink and we do these addictions because we don't have anything to replace it. We don't have another positive addiction. And this, I'll tell you, is an addiction for me, but it's positive. Eating healthy is a positive addiction, just like eating unhealthy. So this was actually a therapy that I was actually going to look more into because I didn't even start to write everything down because I was practicing it myself until I started realizing, because I started realizing I'm always thinking about these chickens. I'm having conversations with people randomly about chickens. So that's something else. That's something that I'm looking into, and I would say I believe is going to be a powerful thing. The therapy of farming, so to combat addictions.
Great share. Anything else from you, Brother Melvin?
No, that was good. Thank you so much. Well appreciated. Like that first statement, and I'm glad you asked him to repeat that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Now we're going to make our way down to Texas Southwest, Brother Cliff Anderson. Great morning to you, sir.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Come on and talk to us.
This farming idea has been on my mind, and it came to me in a dream with my eyes wide open.
Ooh.
Not only me, but my preacher has talked about it. And so, when God plants a seed, we just need to ask, how can I do it? Not how hard it is, how can I do it? So I want to thank you for this talk this morning. And also I need to get that telephone number because we have to be about action here. And I want to reach out and contact you because this is a serious project that we all need that can rebuild our communities.
I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Cliff. And folks, Devin's phone contact is in the chat right now as we speak. And we can eliminate the food deserts. We don't have to suffer them. Brother Tony, do you have something you wanted to share this morning?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Brother Tony out of Illinois.
Yes, sir. Oh, brother, this is a dynamic meeting this morning, sir. Brother, you are a definitely jewel to the community with your project. I would like to just ask a question about the housing portion that you was referring to. And I was just kind of curious about how that part of it worked.
The housing. What do you mean about the housing portion?
I know you were speaking about apartment, townhomes.
He was
Something
speaking
that
to how
effect.
you can grow the gardens from those spaces. His organic farm.
Okay. Oh, okay. I misunderstood. I thought you was referring to building actual apartment complex and communities. Because
Well,
I know
no.
we have like acres of land in the South, and that was something I was interested in striving to build on the land that we have in the South.
What
But
I'll tell you this: when you go to the website and you'll see the My Organic Pod farmhouse system, it looks like an apartment complex because what we do is we take abandoned apartment complexes, abandoned malls, abandoned structures, and we convert those into farms. Because right now we have a bunch of abandoned places, and even if we have bare land, we can. When I tell you what happens when people start building, when you create abundance of food, right? Immediately you start to add to it. The one thing I thought of is like, if you can make food attractive, farming attractive, and you will see it when you go to the website, and you make it produce ton of it's very profitable. Now you create well-paying jobs and people go to where well-paying jobs are. That's why Detroit, Chicago, that's how that started. That's why Cleveland, that's why people moved to those from the south to those areas because they were well-paying jobs. Now I'm doing the same thing but with food. Now if we say we use your land and we get the dollars together to be able to put these on your land, well now immediately investors are going to say it makes sense to put apartments closer and houses closer to this because now this is a place with well-paying jobs because it just makes sense because that's how they do it. It's always been that way. There's an attraction and then people build around the attraction. There's Disney World and then a bunch of things all around Disney World. Why? Because it makes sense. So that's another way of looking at it. And also one of the things I was doing with the apartments when I mentioned that is that my focus was I need to make sure that there are no excuses. You can actually have chickens and fish in your apartment.
Right.
Wow.
Why? Because chickens don't make noise if you don't have a rooster. They don't make enough noise. And as long as you don't tell nobody, because that's what we end up doing. We end up posting everything on social media. Look at my chickens. Nah, don't do it. Keep it to yourself. You can
Right.
actually have chickens and fish in your apartment or your townhome and nobody will know. And that's another thing. And last thing I want to tell you guys, I'll show it to the buyers when we talk. So this works on an app as well. This is the last thing I'll say because I know you guys got to go. So basically, everybody who has a My Organic Pod is going to have this app that we're working on. So if you're really great at catfish or bass or brim or what have you, and I'm really good at jalapenos, right? But I suck at growing my fish. They always die, right? I can go on my app. I see yours, and you're like, yo, I got a bunch of catfish I want to get rid of, but I'm looking for jalapenos and lettuce. And I can write you and say, I can go and I can barter with you
That's right.
for that.
Right.
So now we're not spending money. We're giving each other our resources. We're bartering. So now it acts as a currency. So now we actually are now outside of the system. The biggest problem with white supremacy that many of us have is we keep thinking we got to fight it. You don't fight white supremacy. The zebra doesn't worry about fighting the lion. Keep in mind, the zebra wins the war against the lion every day because there are more zebras than there are lions. Remember that. The zebra keeps winning. The reason why is because the zebra worries about reproducing, the lion worries about the food. The zebra's not worried about getting rid of the lion. The zebra's worried about their own economy and their own lives, right? So what we do is we create our parallel economy. So now if we're able to feed each other from these pods and make money by selling the eggs, the fish to other people, guess what happens? Now you got a separate set of money, a separate way of feeding yourself outside of this system. And you didn't affect the system. You ain't got to tell white people they ain't this, that. It don't even matter because now you did it from the comfort of your home. And that was the other thing. That app is going to be a game changer because people are going to be able to feed each other and barter in addition to make money without even having to, do any of this stuff on the other side. Because if we think that way, now we're not even a threat to them because they still gonna have a bunch of people to kill and poison. But over here, we're focused on making sure we take care of our people. And that was another thing I wanted to tell you guys.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Brother Devin. You're a blessing to our community, sir. Salute you.
I appreciate you
Praise
guys.
be to Allah. Folks, before we close out, please look into the chat. You'll see Brother Devin's information there, as well as the Wealth Minister YouTube channel. This is where you'll find a rebroadcast of what you saw today, and lean in on it, drink it in. go to the website, blackwallstreetthefilm.com. Go to myorganicpod.com. Look at not just the vision, but the opportunities that are out here for us. We speak often about having a true wealth being, and that's where we are. So, Brother Devin, we're going to kick it over to you for any closing comments or remarks. And I can't thank you enough, brother, for honoring us with your presence today.
Man, I appreciate you. Thank you for reminding me about 2017. I'm like, man, that's actually when I started writing the film. So that's funny. So I just want to say thank you all. Thank you all for showing up and showing out. This is how we win. I'm part of the legacy of people like yourselves who made a decision that we're gonna do something and we're gonna leave something for our children. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate this moment. I didn't expect that I would have 48 people this morning that even cared about something I had to say. So I'm happy that this is a pleasant surprise. And I really hope we do business together.
Yes,
Because that's
sir.
the other part of it. Let's do business together. I would love the conversations and the calls so we can do business together. Because that's the other part. When you're doing something like this, if there's no business that comes from it, then it's a void. And that's how a lot of these black businesses get bought up. I have white boys right now talking to me about putting my technology in homes, like literally inside homes, meaning like the big version inside homes. And once that happens, think about how many of us are going to be priced out, right? I want to talk to people who want to talk about business. Let's move forward because if I have all of my people if I have all of my people over here and we're doing great business, and I don't mind working with other people. I'm not on that stuff. But I need to make sure my people are we're working together and we're building business together. Because what happens if everybody else starts working with me and starts taking this technology and I get all this praise from these other people, it's going to be perceived as if I didn't do what I'm doing today. That I wasn't getting on these podcasts and these videos that I've been doing since I started. It's going to look like all these other people found me and I just said, nah, Negroes, I ain't got time for you. We got to do business together because I'm doing my part by getting on these calls, by going on these podcasts, by promoting myself to my people because I'm specific about what I do. I'm strategic about what I do. I promote directly to my people. But if these other people start making money with me, and then it's perceived as if I didn't do this, I don't want that to be on me. That's not going to be good for my conscience. It's not going to be good for my children when they see that, Daddy, why are these people praising you over here? That seems like it's a setup, like they're going to get you. And it's like, well, but I did my part, but I need my people to make sure they do business with me. So that way there is no way that the setup can happen, right? I don't want to be made by what they call mainstream. Whenever you hear a black man being mainstream, my people, not a good thing. James Brown was good until he became mainstream, right? I don't want that. The only way that helps that is that when these people are talking about you, our people are louder. So that way we're doing so much business together that they see me as just a business. Walmart is a business, right? I want to be like Walmart. Everybody goes to Walmart. But if Walmart was a black business, right? Only black business is going to be attacked. If Walmart was a white business, then it's going to be attacked. But now that's everybody going, that's how we win together. So that's what I want, but I want my people have to be there. So please, if you guys call, email, please, let's do good business together because I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure my people win. Because again, if he got me since 2017 doing the same stuff, and I've been doing it since 2003, that means I'm consistent. I ain't one of these fly-by-night goofballs who are just jumping on the next thing. I've been consistent about this. So I appreciate working with you guys and making something happen. So thank you.
Hey,
Man,
brother,
y'all give it up.
thank you for
Y'all
giving
give it up
us
for
our
Brother
marching
Devin.
orders.
So much.
There you
Thank
go.
you,
There you
brother.
go. Y'all
Thank
unmute your
Brother
mics, love
Devin.
on each other, folks, and we'll see us
Thank you.
all on the
Thank you.
next
Thank you very much.
live
Thanks for bringing
stream.
the
Thank you,
information. Thanks,
Brother
everyone.
Devin.
Hey, what you
Thank
call me,
you,
brother?
Brother Eric. Thank you,
Brother
Brother
Eric,
Devin.
for bringing
Thank
it
you so
good.
much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
brother.
Pastor Pamela, as well.
Very much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pastor
Very
Pamela.
Thank you,
unexpected
everyone.
morning, brother. Very, very
Very
excited.
exciting. Thanks, sir.
Hey,
Everybody have a blessed day.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
everyone. Forward.
hey. Definitely be in touch.